Hey everyone, hope you're well. Ooh, excuse me. Hang on 1 second. Here you go. Just send a quick message. I'm gonna get everyone promoted here. Okay, let's see. Letta, Betty, Cicely, Jenna, Kathy, Kevin, Michael. Let's see. Starting to get a little bit out of order, but I'll get you all. Everyone, I'll get everyone promoted. So hang on just 1 second. Like we're getting a full house tonight. That's good. We got some good stuff tonight, guys. Our conference was awesome last week. Boy, if you, I would say I would definitely go. I'm going to the very next one in October. Okay, let's see. I'm going to share some of that with you tonight, actually. Let's see if Gina's on yet. Hang on 1 second. Not yet. That's okay. So Aletta, Deborah Pingree, and Kevin Kelleher, I'm promoting you. So what that means on your end, you can open up your camera and be able to mute and unmute yourself. That way we can see you and speak with you and engage and communicate, and you'll get more out of the class. Plus we get to know who you are, especially the guests. Okay, I think that's everybody so far. See, Dennis, good to see you, buddy. Okay, let's see. So Michael McGrand's asking, is anybody cold calling absentee landowners? I know Michael Lakeefe does that. So there's probably some a few others. So in any case, I think everybody's promoted. Gina, if you wouldn't mind, keep an eye on that. Usually we'll get another 10 or 15 or 20 so coming on board. And we are, I believe, live on Facebook. So that's up and running. In any case, welcome to all the new agents and the guests. Good to have you aboard.
Gary,
Yes.
I can't promote unless you make me hosty.
Yeah, I thought I did the, oh, you have to be host, not co-host. Is that what it is?
I don't know. I think you have to share host. It's not letting me promote though.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I'll get you.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah. Let me make sure I got you. Yep, you're not in the attendee list, so you're definitely, there you are. Make host. Okay, now you're host and I'm co-host. So, all right.
Yes.
Welcome aboard, everybody. We'll get started here in just a second. A couple of things up front, though. Biz Wallace is on, and she's on via Kathy Urich. So thanks, Kathy, for making the introduction. And Biz, meet everybody. Everybody meet Biz. So,
hi, everybody.
Yep. Biz is an investor, and she may or may not get her license. Eventually, we'll see. It came up out of a conversation we were having the other day, and she's looking for agents just like you guys who understand investing and working with investors. And so when I told her we have agents in probably half the states, and certainly there's concentrations in some areas like the bigger metropolitan areas, she wanted to kind of mention to you what she's doing and see if anybody wanted to connect with her for someone, an investor to work with. So she's probably also connected with other investors too. So Gina says she wants your first name. So,
Oh, Gina, that's the best part about having a preferred name. You get to pick whatever you want.
there you
Love
go.
it.
But if you want to, Biz, feel free to go ahead and chime in. I've got kind of a wide range of things to cover tonight, and you're certainly welcome to hang around and participate and see what we're all about. We work with regular owner occupants too, but we definitely have a focus on investors. And obviously, I'm sure you know, as this market continues to turn, it's going to become more and more important. I mean, we're clearly officially in a bear market. And now some of the gurus are starting to admit we're actually started the recession. There's still a lot of mixed signals out there, but the numbers don't lie. I mean, just look at the facts and put the blinders on, right, and charge forward. So what areas are you looking at? What kind of things are you looking for?
Hi, everybody. I'm Biz Wallace. I'm in Florida over here, sunny Florida. I am looking for passive. No more in the active game for me. Tried it, didn't like it. Like the passive side much better. So yeah, my focus is going to be acquisitioning as many houses as I can this year. So I'm on the hunt for private equity and owners in there. So it'll be across the board. It'll be single family homes. It'll be multifamily units, whatever we can get our hands on. So it's going to be really fun and exciting. And I'm hoping that I can work with some of you and gain some knowledge along the way, because I'm sure you guys are the experts as well. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay. Well, if you want to, in your chat box, you can type in your name and number, email, and we have several Floridians on the team. I see a couple here right now, Betty, particularly in Tampa, and Michael Ussery over sort of between Orlando and Daytona Beach area. It covers a wide range of areas there. We've got Tony Moore's down in like the Fort Lauderdale. What's the other areas down there? Pembroke Pines area, some good areas down there. Randy's down and Miami and south of there. So we've got the state pretty well covered,
Nice. Look forward to it. Cool. I'm putting my info in the inbox.
Yep. In any case, a couple of things, guys. I wanted tonight to talk about your sphere and really how to serve your sphere. And I'm going to use the word sphere in your database almost interchangeably, because anybody in your sphere should absolutely be on your database, right? So, and when it comes to calling people, I know you've heard me say before, you should have your sphere broken into 3 categories. Your inner circle, category 1, that's the people you'll speak with most frequently. Typically the people you're closest with, they obviously first name basis, you recognize each other, probably go to each other's picnics and things like that, right? And in our business, obviously you've perhaps done some business with them. They bought or sold something in the past, maybe multiple properties if they're an investor. Level 2 or category 2 is the next outer band. These are folks that you know each other, however they came across you, you came across them. You know each other's names, probably even recognize each other in a grocery store, and maybe have done a transaction in the past, but maybe it's 3 years or further behind or in the past. And then the third category is like everybody else, people on Facebook, LinkedIn. You may have never met them other than through online, right? And that's your third category. Well, in order of frequency, you communicate with your inner circle, category 1 most frequently, and I recommend anywhere between 1 and 3 months. Okay, preferably more like monthly. The second category, category 2, that's like 3 to 6 months, and the third category is 6 months to a year. It minimum every year you should be communicating with even your third level. Now, a lot of the questions you get is, well, what does that mean? How do I do that? Well, here's some suggestions. Number 1 is you have to pick up the phone. I mean, can I get any amens out there? Hand raises, claps, chat box, particularly the veterans. All of us have been you at some point. Everybody started off with 0, right? When you first got started, you may have known people, but 0 transactions. The veterans will all tell you, in spite of all of our efforts to kind of give a little pushback on the phone calling part of it, eventually you realize that's where the business is won. You've got to talk to people, you know? So having said that, I recommend calling these people with the frequency I just went over. Now, what I want to go over tonight is what are some of the other things you can do to alleviate some of the stress, pressure on your time, your schedule, and your energy. And one of those is in KV Core. There's many campaigns you can clone, a lot of them from EXP and some from our team, okay? There's one in particular that's a friendly, it's a basically 12 contacts in a year. I can't remember the name of it to save my life, but some of you probably are using it. And if you recognize this, just type it in the chat box which one it is. But it's the one that's basically going around the year, you know, happy Memorial Day, happy July 4th, happy Labor Day, spring cleaning tips, winter preparation tips, happy Thanksgiving, you know, all the usual things. And if you know their anniversary dates, maybe their anniversary date of when they last bought their last house, or their anniversary date in the case of a married couple, or birthdays, those are great things too. But those are friendly contacts, light, airy, nothing intense, nothing deep. They're not really asking for business. You're just saying, hey, I've just been thinking about you. Okay. So any questions on that right there? That should be carte blanche, everybody in your database. Everybody in your database should get that, have it set up automatically. Once you have the campaign cloned, you don't have to create it. It's already there. You just clone it. Okay. And you select your records, which should be all records. It just runs on its own. Okay. So that's a real easy passive way to maintain contact with people. Now, those of you who know me a long time know I really push using the booklet, and I'm really pushing it a lot lately. Okay. And I'm going to show you something here real quick. Let me do a share screen. Actually, let me first get in there. I'm going to go into the website, and I'll actually show you what I'm talking about. Excuse me. When I was outside, you know, you guys know I like to work outside a lot. And unfortunately, one of the downfalls of working outside, there's a little critters flying around. And what happens every now and then with some of those little critters? Well, they happen to find their way in your ear, your nostril, your eyes, and eventually down your throat. So that's what happened. I was coughing like crazy. I forget who that was I was speaking with, but was a lot of fun. Okay, let me do share screen. You can see what I'm about to show you. Oh, hey, Gina, you've got to pass promote me to host now, because it won't let me share my screen, if you don't mind. If you'll see us, let's see, we're both in the panelist list. Now it looks like I'm hosting it. Okay.
You should be good. Sorry, I was on mute. Been here talking to you, telling you it's good, but hey.
Oh, that's okay. So I want to go into the members area of our website. I want to thank Vanetta Hubbard for bringing this to my attention. I've probably not been vocal enough about pointing certain things out, and one of them is this right here. In the marketing campaign tab is where we have all of our team marketing campaigns. These are proprietary. I think they're all now copyright protected and some are trademark protected, things like that. But this little button right here says download this first. If you haven't downloaded that, please do that. I mean, you may have been on the team for 2 years and still not downloaded. That's our marketing sequence document. It tells you in what order you should be executing the marketing campaigns. It also tells you what combination of things you can do together at different levels of production. So I want to claim irresponsibility for not being more vocal about that, because it really is important. And I'm sorry if I've confused people in the past by not doing that. So, and I want to thank Vanetta for pointing that out. Vanetta, of course, was one of our key team players and led the first R group from the core mastermind group and trained people on a 90-day program. And 4 people she took through, I think 2 of them were producing by the end of the first 90 days, which is pretty good.
All of them were producing.
All of them. So, oh my gosh, that really embarrassing.
All 4 of them were producing.
There you go.
Had at least 1 or more transactions.
Yeah.
At the end of the class.
So there you go, guys. If you have not done the 90-day program, it's available for everybody. And you're not producing the level you want to, that's the thing to do. And more importantly, but particularly for the new agents, or if you haven't, if you've only produced one transaction or not, you just want to produce more, you don't have to pay for this. But for the newer agents, Bonetta, she can mentor you through your first 1 or 2 or 3 transactions, and we'll share the team split with her. You don't have to pay for it. So now don't overwhelm her. She's got 100%, she's got 1,000% batting average, right? In baseball, when everybody hits every pitch, that's called batting 1,000. So in any case, we have them, not only the means to do it with the material, but we have the resources to do it people-wise too. And that's why I purposely shifted her into that role. And she did her year with the mastermind, and I wanted somebody else to take that turn too. And that's how that's shaping up. But in any case, back to this. Here's what I want to show you, the booklet campaign. All right. I know I do this a lot, but this is absolutely 100% critical. Okay. And I'm gonna call on Biz as a kind of a guinea pig here because she's an investor. So Biz, what this booklet program is, it's a monthly production. It's not like a newsletter. It's like a booklet you would get from a financial planner, where every month they give you the statistics and updates on stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Every month you get it when you're a client with a financial planner. All I did is I took the same idea and stripped out the stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and put in duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, flips and things like that. And over the years, we perfected it to really customize it. Some booklets are only on flips. Some books are only on fourplexes. Some booklets are only on storage facilities, things like that. But if you're an investor and you're in, Tampa, would you reject, or would you be glad to get a monthly publication that gave you recent samples of properties that were sold that were fourplexes, or properties that were flipped, and more importantly, gave you strategies and tools and recent articles related to real estate? Does that sound like something you as an investor would like to have?
Absolutely. Yes, 100%.
Yep. So there you go, guys. And, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks back, but I ran into 2 of my former students. I run into a bunch of former students, but these 2 guys purposely came to a class that they didn't need to come see me, to tell me that they were doing the booklet, and that's all they did. They didn't do the letter. They didn't do the workshop. They didn't do anything except the booklet. And I don't know how long it took them to get there, because it had been 2 years since I saw them before. But both of them said they were batting 1,000 with the booklet. They're sending out 25 booklets a month to the same 25 people every single month, month after month after month. And whatever the batch was before I ran into them again. And this is different. One was in, actually the guy was in El Paso. No, sorry. Not Albuquerque, Santa Fe, New Mexico. He drove down from Santa Fe to Albuquerque to come to that class because I wasn't teaching in Santa Fe that time. He told me, and then several months later, I was out in San Diego, one of those offices, and that guy was a fireman, came in and said he just focused on firemen. That's all he did. He focused on firemen. 25 booklets went out, and if somebody dropped off, he had another person, and that was his story. So what I want to kind of focus on a few more things here. The booklet is a very versatile, very easily customized campaign. We've used it for owner occupants. Mo on our team, Mo Dupe, up in St. Louis and now in Dallas too, used it for doing her walkabout to get traditional owner occupant listings in a neighborhood near where she lived. And she did it last year, got 2 listings. She did it this year, the first time out of the gate, got 2 more listings. So the booklet can be used for that also. And what you do in that example is you literally give the statistics, active, pending, sold in that neighborhood in the last 30 days, okay? And you walk around and hand that thing out. We don't door knock, okay? I mean, some of you can door knock if you want to. I personally never like that. I did get used to cold calling though. I don't like to call it cold calling, and that's why I lead with a booklet or lead with a letter, because then I don't feel like I'm cold calling. But back to the booklet. The booklet can be sent in the mail, it can be hand delivered, and it can also be saved on Google Drive to get a Google Drive link. And then that Google Drive link can be sent in an email every month to the same people we just talked about earlier. Different day of the month, though. Don't hit them all in one day with 3 or 4 emails. But in the booklet, you don't have to send out to everybody. I recommend you do it at least once though. Your booklet should go to everybody you know at least once. And in the checklist, it actually gives you a script to use if you do send it electronically. Okay. So hang on while I, there it is. If you scroll down here in red, alternative use, and there it is right here. You can put this in an email, you can put it in a text, you can put it in LinkedIn, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You know, hi Biz, I'm training to be a certified investor agent and I've created a draft booklet for other investors. And optionally you could say, just like you, I thought of you, have you ever considered flipping a property or buying a rental? Would you please provide your feedback on this booklet? I value your opinion. Now, Biz, if you got that, does that seem like that's real salesy or really, I want to buy your house, any of that kind of stuff?
Not really. A little
Nope.
bit a stronger sales tactic.
It
Very much.
is. It's actually using something, you're basically it's a permission-based campaign. You're actually asking them permission. In so many words, you're saying, would you mind if I send this to you? By the way, what are your thoughts on this? I value your opinion. So you're also butter the bread, so to speak. Okay. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to respond to this the first time you send it out. That's probably not practical or probable. However, over time, I promise you, most people would eventually respond, especially if you stop sending it. This is what we found out. When you send it 12 times and you stop, don't be surprised if you get an email back or a phone call saying, hey, why did you stop sending that? I've been meaning to call you. I've just been busy, you know? So in any case, you're also looking for information. You want to test this. Put in there some samples of flips. Put in there some samples of rentals. Find out what they're responding to and track it. And then later on, you can have multiple booklets, one just on rentals, one just on flips. And let's say Biz only responded to the ones with flips. Just send her the ones on flips then. Don't even send the ones on rentals. And if she says, hey, I want to see those too, then obviously do that, you know? But in any case, as far as contacting your sphere, this is a great way to maintain contact with your sphere. Stay current with your marketplace, having your thumb on the pulse, knowing what's going active, knowing what's selling, how close to list price, how many days on market. And they take case of rentals. What's the appetite? Is it single family homes for rentals? In some areas, that's true. In some areas, though, it's all multifamily. So you want to learn that by doing the booklet. And also, by the way, the booklet requires you to learn some of the other tools in our training, okay? Because remember, the booklet, you're going to give them as an example of one of our calculators or one of our strategies. Maybe you'll invite them to a Zoom call so you can show them the analysis tools on ReallyFlow, which I think would be totally awesome. Show them how we analyze the properties, show them how we determine if it's a good deal. In fact, if there's somebody, let's say somebody you're trying to persuade to be your client, you already know them, they're a prospect, but they haven't bought or sold from you yet, do this. So you know what? How about if I create a file for you and let you try it on your own? This is you speaking to an investor. I'll give you a file, create a file for them in the zip code, send them the file and see how they do. Chances are they're eventually going to call you back and say, you know what? I'm not really sure what I should be doing here. I feel like I'm either doing it wrong or I'm whatever. You know, that's when you can say, look, if you work with me, I'll do all the heavy lifting. And all you do is sit back and make the deals. Does that make sense, Biz? Yep. Starting to make sense, guys?
Yep. Gary, can you promote?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I don't know how we did this before, Gina, because I know I'd shared screens before and then
I don't know. I don't know what it is either, but it won't let me.
maybe they
Co-host? Can I co-host?
you're not co-host?
No.
Oh, hang on a second. You should be co-host. Gina, co-host, yes. Okay, see if that'll work, Gina.
Yep. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So in any case, guys, you know, this is the thing that I did early on when I first broke out of mainstream brokerage, where my broker had me doing desk duty, doing all the open houses, all that kind of stuff that I did not want to do. I was with a financial planner and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm getting this thing every month in the mail. I thought, why do I do this? Now it was plain ugly. And if you look at my original booklet, and it's in there, this is, if you look at the campaign, this original Word document here, that's the original booklet. You know, I mean, it has warts and everything, but it worked. I even had people tell me this thing looks like crap, but they liked my style. They liked the fact that I put all this content in there. Okay, because they wanted to see what the market was doing. Investors want to see this stuff. That's what they want to see. And I would give them a spreadsheet or a calculator. You know, they're like that one. I would give them one of those. And what's interesting is they couldn't even use this because it's, at this point, it's in PDF. It's not an active spreadsheet. So, I mean, I was actually kind of a knucklehead about it, but what did it do? They called me, hey, can I get that thing for real? Oh yeah, sure. I'll send you this right over, you know? By the way, what'd you think of those example properties? Oh, and then I would put them on like a nurturing campaign, right? So in any case, and give them testimonials and things like that. And my call to action was horrible. It couldn't be more passive. It's like, hey, if you ever think you're ready to do this, you just let me know. No, be more. You need to give them an offer for a free list of investment properties. Click here for a free evaluation of your oldest rental property. See what it would sell for. Click here. That's what so your last section should not look like mine. Your last section should have those two calls to action in there. In any case, it's literally laid out for you just like that. You want to give them a nice picture too, by the way, of your area, you know. So
Someday, Gary, I think we should do a whole thing on marketing campaigns and stupid crap we did that worked anyway.
yeah.
Everybody could pitch in on that one.
Oh yeah.
Gary,
Yes, ma'am.
so you had said send some samples of flips. Where will we get those?
Okay, flipping, it's actually easier now than it was before. So all you do, Bonetta, is you go into your MLS
Yeah.
and just pick a zip code or area you know it's been active, and do a search on sold, only solds for the last 12 months. Then when you get the results, you want to sort it by address. Now, sometimes the MLS will let you sort it right in the MLS. Other times you've got to download it into a CVS file, which is Excel, and then sort it by the address field there. But either way, you want to sort it by address. So what it does, wherever the same property was in there more than once, chances are it was probably a flip. The way to really kind of determine that is to pull up the first one and the second one. The first one was a low price like 300,000, and the second one was a high price like 600,000, and it was done again in less than a year, 6 months, 9 months. And the pictures, you look at the pictures, and you can clearly see the newer listing has that they did the kitchen, they did the bathroom.
Okay.
What you want to do is you want to save those two and print those off. You know, save them, save the screen, everything you can save. Because remember, your MLS is going to cycle those off after time. That's why you got to capture the data when you have it. And that's the information you put in your booklet for a flip. But you have the first listing when it's sold, the second listing when it's sold. You can show the difference in price because it's on the MLS and it's already sold. That means it's already recorded in the county records, which also means it's public information. Now, as far as permission goes, you don't have to have it. And here's why. We're not actively advertising that particular property to sell. We're
Right.
simply providing it as an example to a closed audience. Does that make sense? Yep. Now, if you're really bold, I used to do this. Because it was a flipper and it was a realtor that worked with flippers, if I saw that the same agent that listed it the second time was either the listing agent or the buyer's agent on the first one, I knew that agent knew what I knew, which is it's good to work with investors because you get the front end and the back end, you get multiple commissions. And I would call them and say, hey, I've got a client looking to flip a house in the same neighborhood your client just flipped one. It looks pretty darn good. Can you give me a rundown of what they did? And they'll tell you. And it's going to see in the pictures anyways, you can see a new kitchen. But, you know, I would ask them, say, look, hey, man, was that 50,000? Was that 100,000? Say, oh, it was probably about 80,000. And there you go. Now you've got your cost of remodeling. That's the kind of stuff I would do. It didn't take that long. Honestly, every month I do that, it would take about an hour. I do the search, do the sort, pick 3 of them and call the realtors. And it just like a system. It was a system is what it was. And especially in the heyday of flipping. Now the market's starting to shift. So people are still flipping, and you can even flip in a down market. I don't recommend it, but people still do it. But in an up market, it's like everybody's flipping. And it's easy to get examples, and it's easy to attract people when people see other people flipping and they see those prices, and they're going to be watching flip this house at 10 o'clock at night. You've got them. I mean, and think about it. How many other agents are doing this kind of work? I mean, ask Biz. Has she ever seen anything at all like this from any other agent ever in history? It's amazing. And all we're doing is we're playing doctor. We're thinking about the client is our patient, and that patient wants to flip a home. So what do they need? But they're scared, right? And they don't have all the information. So it's our job to prescribe the remedy, which is first give them examples, build up their confidence, let them see that it really is done, and people really do this and make money, and make it easy for them to contact us, and let them know, you know what, we've got books on the subject, we've got training programs on the subject. You can come onto our website free for 30 days, right? Remember this? Let me go back, hang on one second. So if you click on the members area, hang on just one second while this is thinking about it. There it is. Click, well, you can get one of these 5-pagers here up front any day of the week. But what I'm suggesting is, see, I'm already logged in. Let me log out. I know I'm going to regret this because I won't be able to get back in. Log out. But I wanted to show you what I wanted to show you anyways. See right here, not a member. Click here to learn about our members only content, and the first month is free. Click on that. They can get in free for 30 days, and they can have access to all of our resource information.
What are the walls that are put in place when someone does that, out of curiosity? Because I had a guy ask me, and I'm like, because he was messing around in there with a bunch of stuff, and he's like, "Can I get all this?" I'm like, "No, not to join our team, you can't." So do you know what the walls are?
Correct. Yeah. So the training programs are more protected. So nobody can get into any of the training programs unless they've either paid in advance or they're on the team. Anybody on the team gets all this for free, And this is the one section, guys, the training material that you actually can't share with your clients unless they're active students themselves. Okay. That's the one thing you can't. But what you can do is share everything here. In the members area is what anybody that comes in can have access to. So that means you can share with them the books. Okay. You can share with them all the websites. So the books are these books here. And remember, all outside folks go to Amazon and spend $10 on these books. You get them for free, and you get to share them for free with your clients or prospects. And if they come in as a member for free for 30 days, they also get them for free there. You can also share with them all of our websites. And each one of these links is a list of other websites related to a particular subject, okay? The tools you can share with them, okay? And what's really interesting is, check this out. I don't know why or how, but literally 6 years of weekly webinars you can share. All of them.
Wow.
Every kind of subject you could possibly imagine.
Wow.
I mean, this is the stuff that people now privately, I only coach 2 people privately. I don't have time to do that anymore, but they're, certain circumstances led me to do that. They paid $10,000 for it. Okay. And they don't get relief flow. They don't get the leads. They don't get all the stuff you guys get. They just get a small portion of it. They get the training program they're in and that's pretty much it. And 2 calls a week per month.
So Gary, I have another question. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
suggested that we do these booklets, do flips 1 month, do regular. Where will we find the rentals?
But the rentals are really easy. You just go in your MLS. Now, sometimes you have to go back 1, 2, 3 years, depending on where you are. But just look for the multifamily section, or actually some MLSs will say rentals, not leasing, but properties used as rentals. Others will separate multifamily from the single family homes, which is anything up to 4 units. I prefer, if your system does that, I prefer that you grab the multifamily, 2, 3, and 4 units. And just grab, you might have to fish a little bit because you want to look for some of the ones that have actual information, not just the sale price, but number of units, the rents they were receiving, things like that. That's what people want to see. They want to see what it cost, what the buyer paid for it, and what the rents were. I'm gonna tell you a little trick here. A lot of realtors that don't understand investors and they get a multifamily listing, they'll just put it out there and with no information, thinking, well, they'll call me. That is not a good approach.
Right.
You get calls from all kinds of people you'd rather not be speaking with. I would load my listings up. If you ever talk to Dustin Wolf, he'll tell you he copied my listings because I packed it full of data, the rents, everything, the expenses, everything I could possibly get my hands on. Because I knew that I would only get the phone calls from people who were generally interested in the property because I already gave them the numbers.
Mhm.
I mean, think about it. You would get calls from everybody, half of them aren't even qualified. We're gonna get calls from people that are already, you know, they want the property because they've already seen the numbers. And if they call you, they want the property. Does that make sense?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've done some calling because there was no information in with the property. And I was like, really? You trying to sell this and you didn't provide any information?
Yep.
It's dumb.
It's an absolute rookie move, you know, rookie maneuver. So now they're gonna waste half their time and your time too by going through that. So keep in mind, Benetta, and everybody listening here, most MLSs now have a section where you can attach files. Make sure you check that because sometimes they're attaching a file with all the financials
Oh, yeah. Yep. And documents.
and documents.
Summarizes
Yeah.
in
So
the
make sure you check documents. I was guilty of not doing that sometimes, and I would call and they say, well, it's in the documents. You know, so in any case, but I would put that in my remarks if I would say financials are in documents, you know. In the early days, we didn't have that. We had to put it in the remarks section. But in any case, that's all you do. But and you want to look for the ones that have some data. I hear a
That's not me. That's
somebody,
not my house.
somebody's stomach's gurgling. So let me see if I can
I
figure
think
out.
it's Sam.
I already did it, Gary. I already muted him.
Okay. So in any case, the booklet guys, I'm trying to ramp up my level of energy here, but stay professional. But I'm going to tell you, if you're not doing the booklet, you're crazy. You know, you're missing a huge opportunity. And because of the way we can do things now, all online, you don't have to print anything or buy stamps. You can do it strictly by saving your file, your booklet on Google Drive as a link, and put that link in emails, Facebook posts. You can private Facebook message people, LinkedIn, all those venues, and just do it on a regular, consistent basis. It will not only help you nurture your database and keep front of mind presence, but the investors are always looking to buy or sell. I mean, I never, all my properties eventually sold, but in phases, I would go through and sell them in chunks. And you want to be on the front of that person's mind so that when they're ready to do that, you're the one they think of. You don't want them thinking of you as just a regular old agent, because they will. If you don't differentiate yourself with something like a booklet, they're going to assume you're just like every other agent and they can call anybody they want and they'll do whatever they want, which is unfortunately basically true. But if you differentiate yourself with this, okay, and you demonstrate authority and value, you know, when they call you up, and by the way, it helps you negotiate commissions too. You know, I can't tell how many times I have people tell me, well, there's a million agents out there. I can find anybody else to do it for 3%. And I will say, you're right. You can find any old agent to do it for 3% because they don't know any better. And they're willing to take anything they can get because they're probably broke. Do you want an agent working for you that doesn't know anything is broke? Or you want an agent who's making a lot of money because they know what they're doing? You know, now I couldn't say that at first because I was too timid, but I eventually got mad enough. my broker was right. He said, he said, don't worry, it'll happen. And sure enough, it happened. I didn't say it with an attitude, but I would say, look, I can go get any dentist in town too, but I don't want to. I want the dentist that has a good reputation, that really knows how to work on people's teeth at a fair price. That's what I want. That's what I want from my attorney, my lawyer, my doctor. I want somebody who's really good at what they do. That's what I want, and I'm willing to pay for it. How about you? And that's what I would say. Do you go to any old tax? Do you go to H&R Block to file your taxes when you own 100 properties? Heck no. You go to a tax advisor that understands real estate investment. So I would do the same. I said, look, you can go to any other agent. There's probably 1 out of 1,000 that do what I do and know what I know, and I can give you their names. I would actually offer them. I would say, call Dustin Knopf. He's really good at what he does. Bill Kendall. In fact, we all actually, at the time, we were actually in different companies, guys. You haven't met Bill Kendall yet, but you met some of the other folks. We're at different companies at times, and we would share clients because we knew we had nothing to fear because there was maybe 5 of us in the entire MLS that did it. And I didn't want to drive all the way to Monroeville to show a duplex. I would call Bill and say, hey, Bill, would you mind taking that one? And he'd say, sure. And he would send me one up in the North Hill. So in any case, there's so few of us that do this. It's easy to differentiate yourself. And believe me, if you go to the investor clubs, I'm going to kind of branch off a different subject here. You really want to join your local investor club. RIA is probably the one that's going to be in your area. We may launch the gig again, live in person this time, not on Zoom, but I want to give you an option, and I want you to go to your local RIA group first and learn the ropes and meet people and print off a handful of booklets and take them, not to this first meeting, take them to your second meeting and say, I really appreciated meeting you at the first meeting, and I brought this for you. It's something I use for all my investors on a monthly basis. Take a look at it and tell me if you like, I'll keep sending it to you on a regular basis, So leverage the investor meeting to network, shake hands, meet people, mainly investors, but also all of the contractors, the roofers, the electricians, the plumbers, the lenders, the attorneys, all the insurance people, flooring, cabinetry, roofing. I mean, it just goes on and on, landscaping. You'll get to know who are the good providers, because who here has ever had a client flipping their first home or buying their first rental and says, who I can use to do electrical work or to do my roofing or to cut my grass? It's going to happen. They'll ask you. And by the way, if they see you work with other investors, they'll assume you know those things. So I would recommend go to your local RIA group every single month. I did that for years and then eventually started my own. So some of you are ready to start your own right out of the gate, but everybody else, I'd say if you have any hesitancy at all, just join your local group. It's usually cheap, $10 a month or something, So in any case, any questions on this stuff so far, guys? Any comments? Am I being too, you guys like my style tonight? Am I being too pushy? Or should I be more Bobby Knight style coach?
I like your style. I was wondering, Dennis told me a cool story today. Dennis, can you talk? I know he's listening and he's driving on his phone, or he's listening on his, never mind, he's driving right now. So Dennis, okay. Dennis told me a cool story about a study of some sort where they went around and they asked the whole neighborhood, who's the top agent in your neighborhood? And they got answers all over the map, just, all different kinds of people that may or may not have done real estate in their area. It was just, they happened to recognize or know this name. And then they had a fake real estate agent do fake marketing to, your hotshot agent or whatever. And they blanket it month after month after month with the hotshot agent who never really existed. And then they went back after a few months and said, who is the #1 agent in this area? And everybody listed hotshot neighbor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't exist.
Marketing.
Doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yep. All right, I'm going to look at my conference notes. I wrote some stuff down here for you guys for tonight. Now we could go off in 1,000 different paths here as far as marketing goes. There's always 25 things you can do, but there's probably 3 things you should always do, and that booklet is one of them. Using KV Core to set all your prospects up on a regular annual campaign. Last 12 months, you click it once, it goes automatically on its own. And obviously phone calling. I mean, if you did those things, you know, unless you live on the North Pole, I'm pretty sure you're going to get some transactions, you know?
So Gary, I'm sorry, what did you say that name of that thing was in KV Core? Did you find out?
Oh, I can't, if somebody's used it, somebody on the team was using it. I can't remember who the heck it was.
And what
And,
does it do again?
You go into KV Core, you want to go into smart campaigns,
Right,
and there's some that we loaded out there for you guys, our team. There's probably a dozen or so of those, but there's others that KV Core loads that you can clone, and they're like normal 12-step or 12-touch programs. You may have to pull them up. I tell you what, I'll make an assignment here. If you wouldn't mind, Benetta, see if you can locate it and
yeah.
then post it on our workplace page for everyone.
Okay. All right.
Because I just can't, I didn't think, you know, I just was probably moving too fast. I didn't think to ask what it was. I want to say Lisa. I don't know if Lisa's on tonight. I want to say Lisa was the one that was using it, but could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not off the top of my head.
No, not Lisa. Good to see you, Lisa.
Thank you. I'm
Back in-
better.
Yeah, back in Oregon, what's living? I wonder if it was Heather. I have to, but if you could, Benetta, it should be pretty easy to find. You may be able to do a post on workplace chat, you know, the general workplace, not our team. Can anybody give me the name of the campaign that's a regular 12 year-long 12-touch campaign? Happy birthday, you know, happy 4th of July, that kind of stuff. So we would have that. I think that should be an ongoing recurring campaign.
And you said, is it free? Did you say
yeah.
it was free?
Absolutely, totally free. Yep. 100% free. Now I haven't touched on the letter tonight, but I will tell you, last week's class, oh, by the way, I apologize. I want to give a big shout out to Tom Jacalaris for hosting last week's class, and for those of you who were there to share your content, because Lisa, Gina, Shastina, and I were all in the conference. But I think we had on Michael O'Keefe. Let's see, I think Brianna might have been on, Mo, and Betty. And I want to thank you guys for sharing what you're doing.
Michael too. Michael Ussery too.
Michael Ussery? Okay, awesome. I mean, there's some good stuff, guys, going on the team that people are using. Like Michael Ussery, he's probably said it 3 or 4 times since January. He's using Mojo Dollar, $3. And Michael, if you're still on, you can unmute yourself. I think I've seen you get at least 3 deals in the last month or so. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
There you go, guys. Mojo Dollar is $60 a line, and if you add other lines, I think it's less expensive. So in any case, if you haven't listened to last week's recording, if you weren't on, I would highly recommend listening to last week's recording, because 4 of your own team members are showing you and describing what it is they're doing that's getting transactions. I'm a huge fan of Mojo Dollar. I've never used it, but of the people on our team that are using it, I've never had one person ever say, gee, I wish I never did that. Everybody's getting deals off of it, you know? It's basically saving you time. It's doing the automatic dialing for you. And when it gets an answer, it stops the other dollars, pops up your screen with that person's record. So you have everything at your disposal about that person. And you can have a meaningful conversation, you know?
And you can sit on the beach or the backyard or anywhere else you want to be.
That's right. Yeah.
I know Bree's using it too, because I know that she's pulling 2 appointments a week off of it.
Nice. I mean, that's what it takes. At the end of the day, what's interesting, I interviewed this guy today from Tennessee, by the way, speaking of Brianna. And Charles, hang on, I'll tell you. Today's Monday, right? Charles Chandler, you'll hear his podcast in a couple of months. Former military, he's an investor too. And he said, really what they did is they designed a system. He and his former Army buddies designed a system to invest, and they just disciplined himself to follow the system. They said, really what it comes down to is taking action. He must have said taking action 10 times in the podcast. And it's the number one antidote for procrastination is taking action. And I know it's hard. For some reason, physiologically, we're all wired to hesitate and procrastinate, and we'll find all kinds of things to do. You know, I mean, we got to sharpen. I literally sharpened pencils today. It's like I had 5 minutes to kill. I think, well, I want to make another phone call in 5 minutes, so I literally took I always keep 4 pencils with me. I thought, well, I can do that in less than 5 minutes. I know people that tell me they'll go and do dishes, they'll vacuum, and all that stuff that needs to be done. I get it, but if you're hungry for a transaction, just pick up the phone. I'm telling you. I mean, some of the true veterans in the world. I know, Lisa, your dad probably would have said the same thing. You know, when you're feeling light in the wallet, we used to call it shaking the tree. Did you ever use that euphemism, Lisa? Shaking the tree. You ever hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Shaking the tree. All it meant
Go
was
for that low hanging fruit. Go for that fast stuff.
Yep. I mean, statistically, it's true. If you have 300 people in your sphere, you can make it in this business quite comfortably, but you have to call them. Because if you don't, like the study that Gina gave, that Dennis brought up, if you're not the first person to come to mind, they're going to call the last person that came to their mind, and chances are that person will get the deal. Because most consumers don't call a second realtor; they just first one they call. You know, so be that person. You know. By the way, Dennis, are you still on?
Hey, Gary, can I
Yes.
interrupt for a quick second? So
Yep.
it is KV Core. It says birthdays and anniversaries.
Oh, hallelujah. Okay, well, that was easy.
Yeah.
I
that's
am
what
on,
it says.
yes.
Thanks, man, for doing it. Hey, Dennis, I just want to share with everybody the good fortune coming your way. So I have some old friends that are wanting to sell properties, right? And Dennis is near where one of the properties was. So I'm co-brokering that deal with him. It's a 3-story, 9-room, 3-bathroom commercial that used to be a home converted to an office, a medical office. So he's got that one. Now we got a second one because the husband decided he wanted to sell his too right down the road. Okay. And I know Dennis is an action taker now. Now thankfully he's the only guy on the team in the area. Soon to be 2 people because Karen Greenwood is going to be joining us. It looks like. So any case, you know, it was front of mind presence. I'm sitting there thinking, you know, I'm traveling like a maniac, and I've already got I'm up to my eyeballs with the team, and I don't want to do anything else but the team, and I don't want to take these things on. So I thought, well, I can train Dennis on commercial, and that's what we're doing. And there were times Dennis will tell you where he was frustrated. The first several months, or it can be challenging in this business. Am I right or right, guys? First few
You're
months,
right, sure.
I mean, it's like you're doubting yourself. Man, I know I'm no good at this. People don't like me. And Dennis wasn't saying that, but I've heard all these things, and I've said them to myself before too. And thankfully, I had a broker that his skull was thicker than mine, and he would not give up on me, right? Because I did not want to do all the normal stuff. I learned the normal stuff and got good at it. And that's when I realized if I can do good at the normal stuff, how much better can I do with the investors, which is what I want to do. And all I did was apply that same discipline, the same systems, right? That systems mentality. So now, you know, here it is a year later, and Dennis' ship is starting to come in. It'll happen for every one of you. And I'm not just saying that because it happened for Dennis. I'm telling you, there's relationships we're working on to help bring in more business for you guys. So I'm just telling you, but you've got to swing the bat. You got to show people that you're an action taker, because some of them, especially the investors, they'll ask you questions, and you got to be prepared. So study the material, study that training program. There's a glossary of terms in the back of every training program. In fact, they put them in the back of every book I've ever written, probably 10, 12 pages of terms. You know, be a nerd, study them, and study those calculators and spreadsheets, practice on them, because you want to be prepared for when your ship comes in. You don't want to wait. If some people, I've actually people say, well, you know, when investors start coming in, then I'll get busy with the investors. Well, guess what? If they ask you what calculator are you using to analyze the net operating income on a rental, and you can't give them a straight answer, they're probably not going to be too inclined to use you. So do the preparation out. It's a famous Boy Scout motto. It's the #1 motto actually in Boy Scouts. Be prepared, right? So in any case, the market is shifting. The big news out of the conference was the smart people, the honest people are telling you the market's shifting. Turn off the TV, turn off the news. Remember, the news is now a commodity and they're paid by advertisers. So what are they going to tell you? Are they going to tell you what the bad news is and what the statistics tell you? Are they going to tell you what the advertisers are paying them to tell you?
Whatever pays the bills.
It's exactly right. Follow the
Whatever
money.
gets your attention, exactly.
Follow the money. So when that Secretary of Treasury stood up there, whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, and said, we're not in a recession. There's probably not even going to be a recession. We got the strongest economy in the history of the world, blah, 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 blah. And at the bottom of the screen, every index that we use to measure stock market is tanking. And it's at the bottom of the screen. And anybody that has been around long enough and understands recessions, the data, the fundamentals never change. You jack up all the prices for several years. You make it so it's exorbitantly expensive to do anything, especially buy a house. Then you start raising interest rates on the money that people have to borrow to buy the house. So they can't even buy the house they used to be able to buy last year. People are going to pull out of the market. That's what's happening. We've already got segments of the marketplace around the country where days on market's extending and people are actually doing price drops for the first time in years. That's just the beginning. And my point in telling you this is to tell you that if you just look at the facts, you'll see exactly what to do. The data will always tell you what to do, And by the way, the pundits that say, hey, we're not worried, the real estate pundits, we're not worried because there's so much demand. That's true today. But when people can no longer afford, because interest rates are twice what they were, the house that they wanted to buy last year, they're going to pull out of the market, which means demand is going to drop. And what happens when demand drops?
Supply. It's the same in 06. They said there was demand. There was no problem because there was so much demand. And it was the same, not the same, it was different, but it was still artificial demand.
Oh, yeah.
The prices are going to drop too.
Yep. Is anybody around back in the early mid 2000s where you would literally walk into the office and plop down 5, 6 transactions at a time? And you'd make 5 or 6 offers and half of them get rejected? It's the same thing, So when you pull back on demand, it's like a seesaw, right? Supply is going to catch up and it puts a downward pressure on prices. And I'm not an economist. I don't know that, but I've been doing this for 36 and a half years. And even though the circumstances are different in every recession, the fundamentals were always the same. Never, ever have they varied. Always the same. Supply and demand, good economics 101. It's supply and demand. That's what it is. So in any case, that's why I'm a contrarian. Whenever supply is low and everybody's going after the buyers because it's easy, it's like Warren Buffett says, when everybody goes left, we should go right. So I'm telling people, do the hard work, do the letters, do the walkabouts, call people and swing the bat to get those precious few listings. Because even though it's hard work getting the listing, all of a sudden your life becomes much easier because you don't have to. I don't have to worry about buyers. When you have listings, that's where your buyers come from. So it's classic real estate 101. And if you keep that perspective and keep the blinders on, right, turn off the TV and open up a book and get on the computer, send one more letter. One of my famous sayings was, you just have to work a little bit harder than the guy next to you. 5 minutes a day is all it takes. Now, if you calculate 5 minutes a day, let's just do the math here real quick. Okay. So I don't want to make
2 hours a month, 24 hours a year ish.
I should do a contest. Anybody can give me the answer, and the first person to give me the answer.
Does it have to be exact?
Well, yeah, that's math. Math. Divided by 60.
Okay, so
it's 30 hours. 30 hours more per year if you work 5 minutes more a day. 30 hours is 3 to 4 work days. Easily, you could get 3 to 4 more deals out of that. 3 to 4 more work days, right? So, in any case, and what that translates to is send 5 more thank you notes before you go to bed, 5 more thank you emails, 5 more text messages. Post something on Facebook. Just take 5 more minutes, develop that habit. And I promise you, your car will start pulling ahead. So in any case, guys, there's a lot more I want to go over, but I don't want to do it all tonight because it's going to take us down all these other rabbit holes. And I feel like we've got some pretty good focus now. So I want to turn it over to you guys and let you ask some questions. Let's do some Q&A. First off, show of hands, just type in the chat box or raise your hand. Do you feel like this type of discussion gives you more focus? And you feel like, okay, I know I can do these 3 things: booklet, letter, sphere. So how about some feedback? Or any contradictions, any objections? I mean, believe me, this isn't about Gary Wilson lecturing. This is about you guys, me giving you the resources you need and making myself available that you can produce and succeed. That's what this is about. Yep.
Gary, my personality, high D, high I, is I don't want the chit chat. I want the 1, 2, 3.
Yep. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what, would you guys like to take another one of our classes and go over one of these campaigns completely thoroughly? 1, 2, 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
Yes.
great, actually.
As a matter of fact, Gary, I want to know how to start what do you call this? Google Docs, how to create, because I don't know how to do that. Is it
Okay.
Google Docs? Is that what you said? Well, we should create it so we can send it out electronically.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to do that. I don't even know how to get there.
You have Gmail?
Yeah, I have Gmail. Absolutely.
All right. So type it up in your regular, wherever you would on your computer. Go into copy and paste it. Go into Gmail and you'll see 9 dots on the side, like a little square and 9 dots in there.
Yeah.
Click on that. In there is Docs. You can go right in there and you can dump it into there, paste the paste part of the copy and paste into there. And then you now have a Google Doc. And there's Google Sheets in there, and there's all kinds of, have some fun playing in there in the 9 little dots.
Yeah, I know about the 9 little dots. I didn't know we could create something like that. I mean,
Yep, and then you can just share, once you're done with it, you can share you can save it and you can share I think it's a URL. You can even say share a doc. You can put
Yep.
anyone's email address in there you want to.
So I'll go ahead and do one. So I clicked on the 9 dots. It brings up all the Google features and functions. You
you
click
gotta
on
share
Drive.
your screen, Gary, because we can't see that.
You can't share my
And
screen?
Bonetta, so that
I
you know,
get it.
Bonetta, it works a lot like Microsoft Word. A lot of people are familiar with Office.
Yep,
So Google Docs works pretty much, it's pretty much not a cookie cutter thing, but it's pretty much the same. So it's really intuitive and very useful.
That's sweet.
Can you guys see my screen?
yeah, I can.
We're looking at you. I'm looking. Oh, wait a minute.
I can.
I'm looking
It's
at
a
you.
view. It's a view
Yeah,
choice that you
you.
have going,
Yeah,
Bonetta.
change your view, Bonetta.
Oh, is it me? Okay, hang on a second.
I know you like looking at my face, Bonetta, and I appreciate that, but I want you to look at the other stuff.
The other, while you're doing that, the
All
two
right,
things I would
I see it now.
Okay, so I click on the 9 dots. I
Yeah.
go down to here to Drive and click on that.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me take the notes. Okay. Docs and, okay.
Oh, Gary goes into Drive and does it. I don't do it that way. I just go straight into the doc, but they're all there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I store everything on my desktop, so don't do me.
Well, I don't know whichever one's easier. All I do is I go on Drive, then I click on U, the big giant U button here,
There you go.
Yep. And File, Upload. Click on that. And then let's see if I've got let's click bring up, oh, it's right, it's loading, whatever files it's trying to load. Let's scroll down. Whoops. Let's see, here's a NC. Let's do a Word doc. File refund. How about Gary podcast one sheet? Here, I'll load up my podcast one sheet. So click that and then click open. And down here in the bottom right hand corner, you can see it loading it.
Right.
Now, what I do to
With
get
that.
this may be the hard way, but I just click on that, left click, and it's going to bring it up. This is my podcast one sheet. Now see where it says share
Yeah,
right in the corner. So I'm going to click on that. Now I've got to change it. See where it says restricted? I don't want it to be restricted. I want to, hang on. This is, my taskbar is in the way there. Essentially you copy a link, but you have to change this restricted to whatever's below it, but I can't get below it because my
Just
darn,
move your cursor down a little bit. Click on restricted again. Or go on restricted. Now move your cursor down just a little bit. There you go, click.
that's-
Oh, nope, sorry. Well, we can see it, even though you can't.
well, essentially,
can you
It's
make
anyone
it
with the link is what
smaller?
it says below it. There you go, click right there. Click. Oh, yes, you got it.
then
Google
done.
has YouTube videos that show this in detail.
I actually didn't copy the link. So copy link.
And what is,
Now I've got the link. So if I go up to where I was before, like I can go into the, I can go into the chat box, and now I can hit paste, copy, Control V, and there's my Google Drive link. for
okay,
my-
so this is a Google Drive link. That's what we're creating.
That's what you want. Now you can put that, now you, if you really want to get fancy, Vanetta, I can take that, okay? And I can go to tiny URL for free.
It's shorter,
Yep.
yeah. So I
Click
know
on
how to, okay,
Move these up here. Type it in there. Make my tiny URL,
yeah, I've done that. Okay,
and there you go.
all
Now you
right.
can put it in there.
So I'm creating a Google Drive link. Okay, I got it. I know. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna do it. And then,
And Bonetta and everyone else listening, whoever doesn't know to be or isn't aware, you can set your preferences too, just like where Gary went to make it unrestricted. You can have it, that Google link. You can make the document that you're creating or the spreadsheet or whatever, you can make it searchable or findable by anybody who has the link. You can make it downloadable or not. You can make it editable or not. It's all, up to you. And if you want it to be only visible by people that you include for, the 10 people that you're sending it to, then you would just add those from your contact list and add those 10 people in, and then you send it out. And then the reason you're creating the Google Drive link is because that's where the document is hosted. It's
Yeah.
on Google Drive. You don't actually have to download it and attach it and mail it out or anything. It's always
Okay.
there.
so this is
If you
new.
make it-
Okay.
If you make it editable by the people who want to see it, everybody who sees it can edit it, and it'll change in real time, and everyone can see the new edit, the new revision.
Okay, I think
So,
okay.
like as a team or something like that,
Okay. Rob, I might call on you if I get stuck. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
All right.
My
Yeah.
2 cents on calling your sphere when you all are calling sphere is, because you were asking for, I don't know, I'm gonna give it to you anyway, who cares? Is there's 2 ways to call your sphere. The one is chat, 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 ask, and the other one is ask, chat, 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 or ask and then move on. And it's just a personality type, depending upon whether you would like, hey, catch me up, how you doing? Da, da, da. Oh, by the way, who do you know wants to, invest in real estate, et cetera. Or I have a business call. Do you have just a second? Who do you know? Da, 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 da. And then, by the way, catch me up, how are the kids? And it really is just just think about how you want to do it and then do it that way. That's it.
Yep. I've got a really good script for you guys.
All right.
For when you call your sphere, the actual wording, you guys want it?
Yeah,
How bad you want it?
real bad.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you're calling your sphere, but let's say you're calling somebody, you're from second or third category, right? Not your inner circle, but second or third category. And they'll say, because I've had this happen, I'm already working with 5 other agents. And I'll say, I understand, I'm an investor too, and that's how I got started. Then I found somebody that was different than the others. And that's what we are. Most agents are in big companies and they have syndication, so that you can list with them and the property goes out everywhere. Every company can do that now. Every agent has the same access because of the companies that they're in. What makes me different is the team I'm on. We have our own proprietary tools, Reese, for research, for calculating, for analyzing, for identifying properties that the others just don't have, okay? Those other activities, by the way, that everybody has, those are passive activities. My activities are active activities. We actively seek out owners of properties that we already know need to or want to sell. We already have the buyers. We've already screened them, interviewed them, vetted them. We communicate them on a monthly basis, not just here in Tampa or Kansas City or where St. Louis River, but all over the United States, because we're a national team and we have agents in half the states. That's why you want to work with us. Okay. Now that's something that nobody else can say except you guys. So anyways, I came up with that in one of our workshop sessions over at the conference. It was a different subject, and I thought I can apply that to us. You know, what makes us different?
That's pretty strong, though.
You gonna send it out, Gary?
I guess I
We get the
will.
recording.
Yeah. You know what I'll do is, hey, Beverly, if you wouldn't mind typing this up when you hear this, and then send that to everybody tomorrow. And what we can do, guys, and have Jody post it on our workplace page. But you know, what's interesting is, guys, I didn't used to be this bold. I wasn't. I mean, my nature is I'm just kind of a quiet person. I know it sounds strange because I'm blabbing my mouth off today, but I'm telling you, you know, my nature is to be quiet, to sit on the deck and watch the birds in the day and watch the stars at night. Okay. But I learned that if I want to succeed and excel and not just live an average life, that's one thing about me that will never change. I never wanted to be average. In fact, I never wanted to be normal, you know? So what do I have to do? I've got to do something everybody else isn't doing, you know? And one of the things I learned to do is the agents that were very successful, they were bold but in a very professional way, okay? And that's what I want you to do. You know, be bold, maintain your dignity, be professional, but put yourself out there. I've actually had people tell me they went with me because I put myself out there in a way that no other agent was doing, you know? And that's what it came down to. You know, it's just that confidence. And the more you say it, the more you do it, it becomes your nature. It's not something you're having to try to do or struggle to do. It becomes natural, right? And you'll learn when to turn it off and turn it on, you know? When I feel challenged with people and I know I'm in competition, that's when I turn up the heat, you know? And that's why it's important to practice and study. Know your terms, your terminology, know your methodology, because it'll speak volumes. Because most 99.9% of agents could not even tell you how to analyze a flip or a rental. It's a shame, because we're realtors. I mean, this is what we do, you know? So it's part of our business. And I recommend you really, really take it seriously, walk the talk and talk the walk. And you'll find even the toughest people warming up to you, you know? So, and when you get a good investor warming up to you, like the people we're working with Dennis right now, I've known them easily for 2 decades, right? And in the beginning, I got nothing from them, nothing in return, right? But I stayed with them because they were good people. I knew that, and they were smart business people. The father was a surgeon, the 2 sons were surgeons. They have multiple businesses and just amazing story, real true life story of people coming to America from a foreign country. They're Greek and making it big in this country. And here they are now, 2nd generation. And without giving names, I'll tell you one of the doctors alone outside of his medical practice has a net worth of over $20 million in real estate. And he's good. This dude is good. He's one of the best investors. He knows everything. He knew the cap rate for the area. I didn't have to tell him cap rate. He knew it instinctively, you know? You want those investors because those deals aren't 300,000. Those deals are 3 million or more, you know? So in any case, that's the power of being persistent and consistent. It is going to be times you're going to get frustrated. You know, we'll have people leave the team when this recession goes in full scale. I'm sorry to say it, but I know it's going to happen. Statistically, it's going to happen. I'm suggesting to you, don't be one of those people. Be one of the people that's not going to just survive. You're going to thrive and do what I did in the last recession, which is grow 6-fold And I didn't have a big plan. I just happened to have the right model. I was already working with investors before the recession hit. Okay, that was the difference maker. That's the truth. I'm not a genius. I didn't go to Harvard. I just happened to have the right model at the right time, and it taught me the biggest lesson in life. When everybody else was going through the left door, I went through the right door. You know, and I started with the booklet. That's how I got started. Plain old ugly booklet. I mean, we even messed up the printing. I wasted hundreds of dollars because I didn't even print them right. You know, and thankfully I had an admin that was like Beverly, that was an absolute stickler. She had a math degree. She was a math major. And it's funny, I was joking with Gina earlier. Math is, there's no gray area. It's not sort of, it's math is, there's a right answer and a whole bunch of wrong answers. Well, that's what Lori was like. And Lori was the one that knew that my creative skills were very lacking. I couldn't paint the side of a barn, you know, but I had good ideas. And she's the one that helped me implement them and was patient enough with my, you know, I was incredibly stubborn, you know, and not very patient either, by the way. And she was smart enough to do things that she knew would serve me well later. So, you know, if you need that person, you need to speak up. There's virtual assistants out there that you can get for $2 and $3 an hour. Gina's got one, Andre's got one, I've got one. I pay him $5 an hour because the guy's worth it, you know, but get one of those guys. When you start getting real busy, that's the time to take on an assistant and hand off all the routine, regular, recurring administrative stuff. You know, because your value is way above that, right? Every hour that you spend pushing paper is an hour that you're not making a deal, all right? So you can pay somebody $5 an hour to push paper, but you can be making thousands of dollars an hour by making the deals go through. So I'm starting to go down a rabbit hole. I'm going to stop there. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. What I want you to do, guys, is go back to the drawing board with your booklet if you haven't done one, or if you haven't finished it, and just get the darn thing done. Just get it finished. We're not meeting next week because it's July 4th, but on July the 11th, let's make that session all about the booklet. What do you say? And be creative. If you think your crowd is a flipping crowd, then do the one on flipping. It's the rental crowd, do the one on rental. If you like doing,
are you going to have them do the booklet with their stuff in their areas?
absolutely. Yeah,
Oh, cool. Bring that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bring that.
Yeah, bring your booklets, man.
Yeah.
Bring your booklet.
And be ready to like do some show and tell.
That's it. And if you want to do like Mo, use it for the walkabout for traditional listings. You know, I mean, one trip out around the neighborhood and getting 2 listings, that's a darn good day, you know? So now she prepared for it. She built the booklet in advance, right? So treat the 11th is,
Good day.
yeah, treat it like
presenting.
Yeah, like your future depends on it. And I tell you what, we're
Yes.
just to let a few things out of the bag here. So I'm working with Shannon Pyatt to build my KV Core presence. That's for me for agent attraction, but it's inadvertently going to generate some leads all over the country, and they're going to you. Those leads are going to you. Okay, I'm not keeping those leads. They're going to you. So, you know, do your part. Be prepared to serve those people. You know, make sure you're doing your homework and be prepared for those people. That's one thing we've got going on. We did form an alliance, and I'll just let you know this one here too. At the conference, Kevin Harrington was there, and he's the original shark from the Shark Tank. And I got to become acquainted with him several years ago in a mastermind group I was in, he was part of. So it was several meetings over a couple of months, and a real neat guy, down to earth. I mean, it's hard to believe, you know, when you meet people who are billionaires, just be prepared. Sometimes they're just regular folks right down the street. Okay. So the deal was he's aligned with our sister group on the commercial side called the Global Shark Team, excuse me. They're global like we are, but they're in the EXP commercial company, not the residential or realty company. So I made a verbal agreement with a guy named Sam Griffin to form an alliance. So then we got deals on our side that included a business that we would joint venture with them on the business, the sale of the business, because we're not allowed to do that. On a residential side, or insurance doesn't cover it. We can sell the land in the building. We're going to do that. So if you get a garage or a beauty shop or a pizza parlor, you can sell the land in the building, but the actual pizza business, you've got to give to a commercial broker. But we're now aligned with the team that has agents like we do in multiple locations. Betty's already working with one of them in the Tampa area in Florida. Any case, so here's what I asked for, and they said yes. I said, if I align with you guys, with all of our agents, 100+ agents in 25 or 26 states, whatever that is now, for the folks, at least on the commercial division to start with, can we do a video with Kevin Harrington to help promote our guys? And he said yes. Okay, so I'm going to push for that. That was a verbal yes. It was in public. 100 people heard it, and I got my picture with Kevin Harrington to back it up. So I want you guys to be prepared for that. Think about what you want to say and who do you want to appeal to, your niche, whatever that is. I mean, I know every agent says on their business card, I specialize in 10 different things. Well, consumers aren't stupid. They know that that's not specializing. That's being a general purpose agent. You could say, I've had multiple business cards, one business card for owner occupants, one for seniors, one for military, and of course, one for investors. And I would say, I specialize in military investors. That was one of my cards, and I put that in Stars and Stripes magazine, and now it's online. And I got calls from all over the world because I put that in there. I didn't say I specialize in first-time home buyers and downsizers and mover-uppers and retirees and I didn't. I specialize in military investors. And boom, every person who read that thought I'm working with that guy, because every other realtor ad said everything the same. I specialize in 5 different things, So just because you have a certain angle in your marketing that points in that one direction doesn't mean you can't have another angle pointing in another direction if you want to do that. I think you should work with owner occupants and investors. I think you should be working with builders right now on the owner occupant side. I really do. I think you should be building those relationships with Braden Kinder's Facebook marketing campaign and Hoodle. I think you should be doing that to complement the investor side, because in any recession, the investors are always there. That's a given. I'd bet my next year's income that the investors are going to be there for you in this recession. Hands down, flat out, no doubt about it.
GP,
Yes.
is it the time to start going after the credit unions and the smaller banks also?
I would
those
absolutely,
going?
I would use the bank tracker website and our website resources and start looking in the area and look for any bank that has a what's the rate of troubled asset ratio is what it's called. Anything above 3 is a candidate. The closer to 10, the better, right? And start going to visit them. You can see the campaign in our campaign tabs. It says working with banks. It has a script in there and everything. Exactly what to do, the step you follow, everything. It even tells you what to wear. I would start those relationships now if I was you. But also, I would use Hoodle and I would use Braden Kinder's Facebook new construction campaign to start getting in with the builders, because they're going to shift. Some builders will drop out just like half the realtors, but the really smart ones, they're going to go with the flow. And if the flow says we need affordable housing, that's what they're going to build. The last recession was we need rental units, and that's what the good builders built. It wasn't permanent. It was a way for them to stay in business when everybody else was dropping out. It kept their crews busy and it brought in cash flow, right? So this time around, I'm pretty sure it's going to be affordable housing. It's not what they want, but it's what they need to do, because it's what the consumers want. And I want you to be on the front end of that too. So you've got that balance. You've got owner occupants and you've got investors both. I'm going to stake my claim on that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see, So, but yeah, Gina's right, guys. Working with the banks, the local community banks is where you should start. And when you do that, you get some track record going. That's when the big banks will call you. 5 million agents were applying to the big banks the last time around, and every one of them got a listing. The the guys that got listings were the guys like me that started off with the small banks, and we had a track record. And all those asset managers that the big banks work with, they have the same access to broker metrics that I do, right? And they see all of our performance. That's why they don't look at the applications. They look at your performance. And if they see you're producing and you're selling REOs, you're the one they're going to call to get their listings, right? And once you get one, it's like a domino effect. I mean, I literally, I had HUD, we sold VA, Freddie Mac, all of them, Fannie Mae, they were coming out of the woodwork. We even sold properties for title companies that were taking properties back because of the title insurance claims. That was happening too. Stewart Title was giving us properties. Wells Fargo gave us properties. Bank of America. But it all started because I went to a little old teeny bank called Allegheny Valley Bank. I don't even know how many branches they had. Then it was First Commonwealth Bank. And then it was some other bank, I forget. But all of a sudden, Lori called me and she said, Gary, we just got a call from HUD. HUD wants to interview you to be a HUD listing broker. And I said, okay, what do we do? She said, well, you got to follow it's a government thing. You got to follow their procedures. And they gave me some crap at first. I mean, just really crappy $10,000 junkers. But then all of a sudden, the other asset managers started calling me. And I started getting golf course properties after about 2 years, okay? $1 million properties. It all started with that one stupid little bank that had cheap, crappy properties,
Gary,
Yep.
do we need to be REO certified in order to go and call on these banks?
It will help. It will help. The smaller ones don't even know what that is, but the bigger ones do, and they'll ask for it. So I forget what it is, CFEM or CFME, something like that.
EXP has their own certification.
Right, it does. I've seen those classes. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay,
So the one I took was with a guy named Alex Sharfin, and it was a couple $100, but that was the one all the asset managers looked for. Whatever it was, Alex Sharfin was the one that taught it. And by the way, Alex Sharfin tried to do investor agent, and he failed at it because he didn't have the persistence and the consistency. He gave up on it. I looked it up because I'm wondering, why am I the only one doing this? I looked up, sure enough, I found Alex Sharfin. I wasn't surprised because he was already with the banks, but he just let it go. He stopped marketing, stopped advertising, stopped teaching. And I literally had no competition for several years. I was like the only person doing it. So be that person, be persistent and consistent. Okay, it's 8:30, guys. If you can believe this, I'm actually traveling again tomorrow. I'm going up to New York to visit my sister, and I'll be available if you need me, texting and if it's something urgent. I did pare down on the scheduled calls, but the next week I'll be back in full force. And the week after that, and the last week of July, I am on a beach vacation back to where all my old friends were. Again, I'll be available by demand, but no scheduled calls then. But up between next week and the next 3 weeks, scheduled calls. In fact, the week after I looked was completely empty, so you can schedule all you want. So.
Ooh.
Yep, but take advantage of me. Use me for all I'm worth, guys. Gina was saying earlier that we looked at other people's training programs, and a lot of them are pretty flimsy. They give you concepts like theory, like you should maintain your database, but they don't give you the meat and potatoes, like the actual what do you do step by step. That's in the marketing campaigns. Every marketing campaign has a checklist to follow, literally step by step. Okay. The 90-day program, again, I'm going to emphasize that again. If you haven't done it and you need transactions, do the 90-day program and do it in 30 days. I've had people do it in less than 30 days.
Oh, game on, because I built that puppy, so it would take 90 days. So if you can do it in 30 days, I want to hear from you. I really do.
Yep.
Game on.
That was Gina and Dave created that. And thanks to Gina and Dave, we wouldn't have that if it wasn't for them. They took what we had and created that 90-day program out of that, and put.
All right, Gina, you're on tomorrow.
Bam.
You opened it up.
Yeah, do it. I do. I want to see it. It'd be awesome.
And I'll do one more plug too, guys. Lisa and I and Gina Chastain were at the summit with Dustin Nolf. He's in our line, but he's not on the team. But he worked with us closely. Andre was there. He's like an unofficial member of the team. We had the best time, but also what we get out of it was one of the best conferences I've ever been to. I've been to a conference for years, but the networking, the connections you make, I mean, my gosh, if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't have run into Kevin Harrington. We wouldn't have this opportunity to partner with the Global Shark team and do videos with Kevin. That's kind of a big deal. Normally you gotta pay for that, but I'm pretty sure if we have, I'll do this. I hope they don't say we got to pay for it, but if I do, I'll pay for the first round. Okay. That's how serious I'm about this. Do stuff like that, reach out, put yourself out there, shake hands, meet people, get over your shyness like I did all those years ago, and let your lion come out. Okay. So there's no better time than now.
It was a cool conference. I got to meet with Success Magazine, and they only have 10 coaches. That's it. So I'm working with them to see if I can do one of those. But for me, okay, the networking was amazing. I really wanted to filter through who the good trainers were and who weren't. And I only ran across one or two that I'm like, yeah, but all the rest of them, I really wanted to get in front of the good trainers so I can recommend those classes for us when they come up also. But they rented out all of Universal for us, the whole park. Oh my God, it was amazing. It was really fun. So the whole park, food, drinks, everything free, everything.
Yeah. What's funny is I love roller coasters, guys, but that roller coaster was straight up and straight down and did all these corkscrew things. And I did a few more runs at the event. I feel bad because we were with Nick's from Cleveland. He was there with us, and Shastina and Gina and I and Lisa at the end. We met Lisa, but I wimped out. I had the last couple rounds to say, guys, I got to take a knee. You guys do them, and my head was spinning, my stomach was turning, and I'm like, I'm not doing any more of those crazy rides.
He set out y'all. So just know that Gary missed the last coasters.
Yep. And
I didn't do that thing at all. I liked the Jimmy Fallon one. I thought that was really cool, and I liked the Harry Potter world.
I like the straight up and straight down. That was a blast.
No.
Yep, scary as hell. It was so cool.
Yeah. So in any case, the EXP.
Can you, Craig, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
Oh, Craig, 90-day program. So go into the website, the Win real estate one, and then go into GIA. Scroll down, you'll see 3 buttons. You'll see member resources, GIA resources, and then if you scroll down, there's 90-day program, and it only opens up 30 days at a time. So you have to complete the 30 days, and then it'll automatically open up the next 30 days.
So this one right
Gotcha.
here.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
By the way, this button here, the GIA resources, that is protected also. You have to be on a team to get those resources. This one's open for everybody, member resources. GIA, you have to be an active member of the team to get that. And then the 90-day fast start, I believe the same thing. You have to be on the team to get that. So, but I would absolutely do it. But what I was going to say, guys. Yes.
Gary, did they release the dates for next year's conference?
Yeah, so the next one coming up is October 11th through 14th. That's EXP Con. That's the EXP conference. That's the regular conference.
The one that you went to.
Yeah, the shareholder summit. I don't know that they gave the dates.
Not yet. They just released that one, the Vegas one, and they'll probably release the exact dates at the next con and let you know that this is our next one coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I'm going to both.
You really, I can't encourage you high enough. I really, really can't encourage you. Can I tell them the story about the Stanford?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So Stanford graduating class, they divided it into 4, and the prof told them, they said, look, I'm going to give every single person $5. You're in 4 groups. Your job, you've got 2 hours, is to go out and make as much money as possible. And then you're going to come back and you're going to present to the entire group for 3 minutes. Best idea wins. So the first group went out, pooled their money, thought the value was in the money. So they purchased lemonade supplies and sold lemonade, and they did okay. And the second group also thought the value was in the money, so, and the labor they could put to it. So they put their money together and they purchased car washing supplies, and they washed cars. Again, made some money, but just did okay. The third group said the money is not in the $5. That's like a red herring. That's not it. What we have is 2 hours of time. So they went into the San Francisco Bay Area and they got reservations at all the restaurants for lunch and dinner, and secured them all. And then went around to all the businesses, because none of the businesses could do any of their business lunches or business dinners, and they sold those reservations back. They still didn't win. The winning idea said, the value is not in the $5. The value is not in the 2 hours. The true value is 3 minutes in front of the Stanford graduating class. So they went to all the headhunters and recruiters that headhunt and recruit right out of Stanford, and they sold the 3 minutes. The value isn't in what you think it is. The value is in something completely different. And you really need to look and analyze what the situation you're in and realize what the true value is. I really wanted to tell you guys that, because I was talking with Dennis earlier today. Our value is in the group we're in the mentorship that we have, and in the leadership we have, and the tools and things like that we have that nobody else out there has. It's not the $5, not the 2 hours, it's your 3 minutes. That's the value.
That's awesome. I love that.
Thank you. I did too. I know. I'm telling you, that right there was worth the price of the conference. I was just like, wow. So.
Yep.
Okay, Gina, do the Jay Shetty thing. What was it? I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who I think I am, and I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. Exactly.
All right.
Now think about that again.
I'm not who I
Say it
think
again.
I am. I'm not who you think I am. I'm who I think you think I am.
Hmm.
So when you're around somebody that you think thinks you're stupid, it makes you uncomfortable. When you're around somebody that you know loves the socks off you and thinks you're amazing, you feel great.
Hmm.
The power really is. So this is mind blowing in that when I go places now, I'm like, they think I'm awesome, and I'm awesome.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
really
not-
thought Jay
yeah.
Shetty was really good.
It was good. I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I'm who I think you think I am.
And I've sabotaged myself with that before, many times.
Oh, when we're driving around, Greg was driving and he goes, oh my gosh, I look like a douche. And I'm like, you think they think that? And he goes, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, then you're a douche. I'm like, I think people love my driving. The truth of it is, I drive so much more douchier than he drives. I'm horrible.
Put up the picture of your car and then tell the truth about the way you drive around Florida.
Drive really fast.
Yes, we know.
I do. But I can get there in 10 minutes faster than everybody else. So there you go. And you all think I'm awesome, so it's all good. Anyway, enough of me pontificating. Back to you, GP.
I think that's it. Any other final thoughts or questions, guys? Remember, we're off next week. We'll meet again in 2 weeks. Just take what we said tonight, take it to heart, write it down, and start swinging the bat, start taking action. That's the difference maker. That's the difference between you getting results and not getting results. If you're not getting the results you want, you probably got to take different or more action. And that's what tonight was all about. I didn't even get into all the other stuff. We'll do that another time. Yeah, this is too important to not put it. We only want to put emphasis on what we talked about tonight.
All right, Gina,
Yes, darling.
be prepared in the morning to start working on the 90-day.
I don't have to work on it. You got to work on it.
You're gonna guide it, so be prepared.
I'm not guiding it. It's self-guided. Get
I
on
know
it.
you're gonna go over it with us, so be prepared.
Oh, in tomorrow's mastermind. Sure thing. We'll do that.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
guys haven't been on that yet, the messages go out every day. It's on Workplace. I would join that morning session with Gina. That's a great way to get the day started. That'll get your mindset straight. So, okay. If there's nothing else, guys, I'm gonna get packing and loading and be up and on the road by 6 a.m. But if you need anything, I would rather you don't ever hesitate. I'd rather you call me or text me, particularly with something urgent, than not and end up guessing or something like that. That's what I'm here for. That's the price I pay for what I'm doing, and I'm glad to do it, you know? So you guys take care. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Have a happy 4th of July too, by the way. And I'll see you, for those of you in the book group, by the way, tomorrow night is the end of the, you know, we're going to have everything turned in tomorrow night for your chapter. And I'm going to spend some time probably over the weekend. I already reviewed everybody's to turn them in. I just got to start piecing it together, and I'm going to need your help on that. So if you're in the group, make sure you're on tomorrow night. Okay, there's a couple people I haven't received their chapter from yet. I have to follow up with them. And then I think that's it for meetings for this week. Yeah, and then the team meeting. Oh,
Are we
next
meeting tomorrow, Garrett, the people who went to the conference?
Yes, we're still doing that. I'm gonna have Beverly start the meeting because I'll be in my car, but I'm gonna
Okay.
get it on my phone. So
Cool beans.
in fact, you know how to do that too, don't you? Don't you have my login and password for Zoom?
I have all your stuff.
You know what? Check with Gene in the morning. Check with Beverly in the morning, excuse me. I just need somebody to start it because I can't start it from my phone. It just won't let me for some reason. I can dial in as a participant. And
Yeah, I have to, yeah, I can do it. I can get it started in. I'm
I've
looking at my
already-
calendar. Yep.
Yep. I'm going over my notes. I got my notes all squared away, so I know. So guys, we'll have another meeting. In fact, let's do this. On the team meeting on July 13th, we'll go over the compiled conference notes with takeaway items for you guys. We're going to meet tomorrow. Everybody's going to go over the notes. We're going to compile that and prioritize them for you so we can share them with you. We'll do that on the 13th is what we'll do. For the team, for Gina, me, Andre, Dustin, Lisa, and Chastine, we're meeting tomorrow to compile our 5 or 6 pages of notes. So
We should see, Garrett, if we can get somebody else in our upline that was there also and get their notes, because all the different, I mean, there's so many different breakouts that my notes are not Lisa's, or I saw Lisa at like, I don't know, 2 things, and I don't think I saw her at anything else.
yeah,
Okay.
sounds
All right.
good. Okay,
Cool.
guys,
No.
have an awesome night. Good rest of the week. Have a happy 4th of July. Stay safe and have fun. And if you're traveling, stay safe there too. But God bless you and your families. I appreciate you and everything you're doing.
On July 5th, I want to see all fingers still attached.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.
Safe travels to you. Safe travels, Gary.
All right.
Yep, safe
Thank you.
travels, definitely.
Thank you.